12 months. That is all it took for Bubba Wallace to go from the story of the season to the biggest question mark in NASCAR. Last July, he made history at the Brickyard. This July, he finished 28th while his teammates stacked trophies without him. Tyler Reddick has the most wins in the Cup Series. Corey Heim has 2 wins in just 8 starts this year. Bubba Wallace has 0. And here is the part that should terrify him. The guy who just beat him is about to become his full-time teammate. Let me walk you through exactly how it all fell apart. 1 year ago, Bubba Wallace kissed the bricks at Indianapolis. It was the greatest day of his career. This year, at the same track, he finished 28th. And a part-time teammate walked in and stole his crown. Something is wrong inside 23XI Racing, and everyone can see it. To understand how serious this is, you need to understand what this team means to Bubba Wallace, and what Bubba Wallace means to this team. 23XI Racing is the team owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. Bubba Wallace has been there from the early days. He drove the number 23 Toyota in the team's very first race, the 2021 Daytona 500, and later that year he delivered the organization its first ever victory, becoming just the second African-American driver to win in the Cup Series. He helped make this team what it is. So when Bubba Wallace struggles, it is a big deal. And this weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he struggled badly. It went wrong before the race even started. On Friday, in the only practice session of the weekend, Bubba Wallace got into the outside wall early. He tapped it just a lap and a half into his run. That is not the way any driver wants to begin the biggest race weekend of the season, especially not the defending winner. Bubba Wallace addressed it himself with complete honesty. "I wish it was as easy as copy and paste, but it's not," he said, clearly as I go banging off the wall on lap 1.5. His team checked the car through inspection and scans that night and confirmed the machine was fine, but the tone of the weekend had already been set. Then qualifying went wrong too. Bubba Wallace had to start way back in 29th, deep in the field. At Indianapolis, that is a nightmare spot. The track is narrow and it is hard to pass. The fast cars up front usually stay up front. The cars in the back usually stay stuck. And that is exactly what happened to Bubba Wallace on Sunday. Here is the hard truth about his race: nothing happened. And that is the worst part. He started 29th and ran near the back all day. Lap after lap, he was stuck in traffic. There was no big charge to the front. There was no fight for the lead. There was no moment where anyone watching sat up and said, "Here comes Bubba Wallace." His day even included a chaotic pit stop in which he struck members of his own pit crew after getting a bump from behind just before reaching his box, though none of them appeared seriously hurt. When the checkered flag flew, he crossed the line in 28th. Think about that number for a second. 160 laps of racing at one of the most famous tracks in the world, and he moved up exactly 1 position from where he started, 1 spot. That is a long, quiet, painful afternoon for a driver who won this very race 1 year earlier. Now here is the part that makes that 28th place finish look even worse. 23XI Racing is not just having a good year. They are having the best year in the whole sport. The team itself says this is the most successful season in its history. Look at what this organization has done in 2026. Tyler Reddick won the first 3 races of the season in a row: the Daytona 500, Atlanta, and the road course in Austin, Texas. No driver in NASCAR history had ever done that before. He has piled up win after win since, winning 5 of the first 9 races, and he owns the most wins of anyone in the entire Cup Series this year. He has led the point standings since February. Then there is Corey Heim, the part-timer. Heim is only 24 years old. He is running a limited 12-race schedule in the number 67 Toyota this season, and he has already won twice. First, he outdueled his own teammate Tyler Reddick to win the road course race at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego in June. Then, on Sunday, he won the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis, a track where he had never completed a single lap before this weekend. The history he made is staggering. Corey Heim became the first driver since A.J. Foyt in 1965 to claim his first 2 Cup victories within his opening 15 starts. He is the youngest driver to win the Brickyard 400 since Jeff Gordon in 1994. He is the first part-time driver to have a multi-win Cup season since Davey Allison and Tim Richmond in 1987. And the way he won it was ruthless. On the restart with 35 laps remaining, Corey Heim picked the outside lane while race leader Denny Hamlin, his own team owner, chose the inside with Joe Gibbs Racing teammates Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe lined up behind him. Hamlin's group failed to organize a coordinated push. Corey Heim got a strong, sustained shove from Joey Logano in the top lane, barely cleared Denny Hamlin, and then slammed the door on his own boss when Hamlin dove underneath him in the short chute between Turn 1 and Turn 2. Hamlin lost all momentum and slipped back to 5th. Denny Hamlin did not hide his frustration afterward. It's really more on us and the 20 and the 19 of just not orchestrating good pushes there. We came detached at the wrong time, he said. From there, Corey Heim held off Christopher Bell over the final 34-lap green flag run, crossing the famous yard of bricks just .287 seconds ahead. "Yeah, that was a damn handful," Heim said. "I was hanging on for dear life once the shade went down and the pace picked up." He added, "I'm pretty out of breath." That was a workout. It was a dream come true. Winning at the Brickyard. That's unbelievable. Even Christopher Bell, who finished second for the 6th time this season, gave the young driver full credit. He showed excellent mental toughness. Put together 35 really good laps. "I didn't have an opportunity," Bell said. "The day had plenty of other drama, too." Corey Heim's ongoing rivalry with pole winner Carson Hocevar wrote its latest chapter when Heim repeatedly blocked the lap down Hocevar in Stage 2, and Hocevar responded by pulling alongside on pit road and giving a number 1 gesture out the window. Meanwhile, Todd Gilliland finished 24th to win the $1 million in-season challenge prize after his opponent Ryan Blaney got collected in a 9-car wreck triggered by contact from John Hunter Nemechek and finished 26th. "It feels really good," Gilliland said. "Obviously, we wish we ran a little bit better than 24th today, but we did what we had to do." Which brings us right back to the uncomfortable question. If 2311 Racing is building the best cars in the sport and 2 of their drivers are winning all over the place, then why is the 3rd one, Bubba Wallace, stuck finishing 28th? Same team, same equipment, same shop. Tyler Reddick started 3rd at Indianapolis, ran up front, and finished 10th. Corey Heim won the whole thing. 2 2311 racing cars had real speed. One of them won the race. And Bubba Wallace was buried in the back the entire day. Same team, same cars, same tools, wildly different days. And remember where this is happening. This is Indianapolis. This is the track that changed Bubba Wallace's life. Last year, he became the first black driver to win a major race on this historic oval. He held off Kyle Larson in overtime. He ran 8 extra overtime laps and won by just .222 seconds. He said that win made him a better husband, a better father, and a less stressed person. The image of his son Bex, not yet 1 year old, lying on his stomach near the yard of bricks, became one of the most memorable pictures of the season. That win meant everything to him. This weekend, a giant banner featuring Bubba Wallace in his driver's uniform hung at the 16th Street entrance of the Speedway, right alongside other former winners of this race, many of them members of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Before the race, he reflected on what that victory unlocked. "It's a very boring answer, but winning in the regular season was something I'd never done in my previous 2 wins," Wallace said. "The next 4 weeks after our Brickyard win, I didn't really care how we finished, because I knew we were in the playoffs. But here is where Bubba Wallace showed his character. He did not throw a fit. He did not hide from the cameras. After the race, he walked over to Corey Heim's crew and congratulated them. Think about how hard that is. It was the worst day of his season, at the track that means the most to him, and he still went and shook the hands of the men who had just beaten him. That is a class act. Nobody can question who Bubba Wallace is as a person. But the handshake did not stop the bigger conversation, because the question was never about his character. The question is about performance. And the scoreboard inside 2311 Racing now looks brutal for him. Tyler Reddick has the most wins in the Cup Series. Corey Heim, the part-timer, has 2 wins. Bubba Wallace has 0, not 1 win all season. He is the only full-time 2311 racing driver who has not made it to victory lane in 2026. His teammates are stacking trophies. He is stacking rough weekends. And that is why fans are asking the big, uncomfortable question: is Bubba Wallace being left behind by his own team? There are 2 sides to this argument, and it is only fair to present both. The defense says slow down. It was one bad weekend. He hit the wall in practice, he qualified badly, and at a track like Indianapolis, that ruins your entire day. The numbers back this up. Bubba Wallace sits 13th in the point standings with a 69-point advantage over the Chase bubble. Since the start of June, he has collected 2 top 5 finishes plus a pair of 6th-place results, and he has led 5 of the last 7 races. Take away his penalty at Atlanta, where he crossed the finish line second behind Ryan Blaney, but was dropped to 29th for dipping below the yellow line while passing Carson Hocevar on the final lap. And he was looking at 3 straight top 10 finishes coming into Indianapolis. Even Denny Hamlin praised him strongly in September of 2025, saying the 23 has been the fastest freaking car we've got. Bubba Wallace himself has kept a remarkably mature attitude about his teammates' success. Tyler and I have been great teammates. I've had no why him. None of that. It's, man, when is it our turn? He said earlier this season. The prosecution, however, points at the pattern. Tyler Reddick has speed. Corey Heim has speed, and when the biggest moments arrive, Bubba Wallace does not deliver the same results. The Atlanta penalty cost him a 2nd-place finish. The pit road incident at Indianapolis added to the chaos. When 2 of your teammates are winning constantly and you finish 28th at your best track, at some point, people start asking why. Is it the driver? Is it the support he is getting? Is it both? Now, to be completely clear, nobody has said on the record that Bubba Wallace gets worse cars or less attention. That is fan talk, not fact. But you can understand why people are talking. The gap is right there on the results sheet for the whole world to see. And here is the development that makes everything more tense. Corey Heim, the part-timer who just beat him, is joining 2311 Racing full-time next year. The team announced in May at Nashville Superspeedway that Heim will drive the number 35 Toyota in 2027, replacing Riley Herbst. Denny Hamlin made his belief in the young driver crystal clear. Generational drivers only come by every now and then, and I firmly believe that we have one here, Hamlin said. To his credit, Bubba Wallace welcomed the news publicly. He'll be competitive for sure. He'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited for him, Wallace said, adding that Heim has come to him for advice over the last couple of years. But think about what this actually means. The team is growing to 3 fast full-time cars. The man who just embarrassed the entire field at Indianapolis is about to be in the same shop, fighting for the same trophies, the same parts, and the same attention. More cars means more competition inside the building. And right now, on raw speed alone, Bubba Wallace is 3rd in line at his own team. That is not a comfortable place to be when the seats are about to get more crowded. There is one piece of good news for him. According to FOX Sports reporter Bob Pockrass, Bubba Wallace is expected to be back in the number 23 car for the 2027 season, driving alongside Tyler Reddick and Corey Heim. His seat is safe. But the pressure is not going anywhere, because this is no longer about one race. It is about where Bubba Wallace stands in the pecking order of the team he helped create. So what happens next? The Cup Series takes a week off and then heads to Iowa Speedway on August 9, followed by a string of short tracks including Richmond and New Hampshire. Only 4 races remain before the 16-driver chase field is set. Bubba Wallace is 13th in points, and his playoff hopes are still very much alive. One good run, one win, changes the whole conversation fast. He has done it before at tracks nobody expected. But the pressure is only going up, not down. His teammates keep winning. A new full-time driver is coming to take a seat right next to him. And the man who once kissed the bricks at Indianapolis now has to prove week after week that he is not the odd man out on his own team. He went from kissing the bricks to finishing 28th in 12 months. 1 year ago, Bubba Wallace was the story of the season. Today, he is the question mark. Bubba helped build this house. Now, he is fighting just to keep his room in it. And how he answers that challenge over the next 4 weeks may decide his whole future at 23XI Racing. So now I want to hear from you. Is Bubba Wallace being left behind by his own team? Or is this just one bad weekend that everyone is overreacting to? Drop your answer in the comments below because the next 4 weeks are going to tell us everything.